Hello. Have you seen Star Trek Lower Decks? I've seen one episode, and I'm going to review it right after this. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the I Spy Sci-Fi review channel. My name is I'm the Amazing Super Chris. I'm your host, and today I'm going to do my review of the first episode of the the new Star Trek series, The Lower Decks. Now, I thought, real quick, I just want to say before I watched the show, I did it yesterday, and before I watched the show, I made a few initial comments on a note here, and I want to kind of go over those first. And then we'll go into what I thought of the show. So first, this is this is my thought before the show. Hey, tons of mice. Nice to have you along with us this morning, or this morning still. My first thought is that I can understand if they are going to make this show. For those of you who don't know, Star Trek Lower Decks is a cartoon. It sure has a look of like a Rick and Morty kind of feel to it. So I could understand if they're using this to try to bridge the gap between older sci-fi Star Trek lovers and younger Star Trek lovers. And that's kind of what I can understand that. And if it's a little slapsticky because that's what kids like, if there's a little more SpongeBob than Jean-Luc, I get it. Totally. So that was one of the points I noted. So if they're targeting the kids, I understand. I can get why it would be a little odd. The second point was that I got from the trailer that this was more like Rick and Morty meets Star Trek, and I don't think I'm really down for that. This is, again, a comment I made before the show. It feels disrespectful to my Trek, and I'm worried that's what it is. It feels like I'm about to be slapped in the face, again, looking at you, Discovery, by CBS milking Trek for all it can with little regard, or dare I say it, understanding of the core of Star Trek. So that was my second concern. That was a concern I had. First was a hope, then a concern. And now here's a little deal. My third point that I wanted to make was that I wouldn't mind it if they did a little bit of a silly Trek if they were turning out decent quality Star Trek content. But so far I've seen Star Trek Discovery, and I'm literally going to get a button that flashes the word bad science fiction up on the screen just for Star Trek Discovery. So there's that. But I understand that I wouldn't mind it so much if they had something that was a little goofy, a little silly, Orville-esque, right? To capitalize possibly on that popularity, as long as they were turning out good quality Star Trek somewhere. I hadn't seen that yet. Now, I did watch the first episode of Star Trek Picard, and I would like to link that somewhere, and you can go watch that. And so far, it seems okay. It's not fantastic. It's a little odd. They did what kind of a direction I didn't think they would go, but it's not bad. It's not Discovery bad yet. Again, I've been one episode into it, so that's kind of my thoughts as far as Lower Decks. It can be goofy and funny. I wouldn't mind so much as long as Star Trek or CBS is dropping out something awesome, some awesome Star Trek somewhere else. Again, I'm hoping that, I don't know if you guys know about the new Strange New Worlds show with Pike and Number One. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really, really hopeful that that's going to be a fantastic show. So now let me check up my notes here. Let's see. So when I started the show, at the very beginning, okay? So I sit down, I've got my hopes and fears, I'm ready to go. And I hit play. And it pops up on the screen, warning, TV 14 for language and violence. Now, that right there kind of put a chink in the armor of my hope that this was for kids. Is this for kids? I'm hoping it's for kids. Well, it doesn't seem just like, are they going to put so much language and violence that they're going to have to put a warning? I don't remember them have to do that with very many in the way of other Star Trek. Outside of the new Picard, I've heard there's a lot of language in the new Picard. I saw there's new vulgarity in Discovery. Apparently people in the future suddenly decided to start cussing a lot. I get it. But so now I'm sitting here seeing this and I'm worried. I'm like, why am I seeing this warning before the show even starts? So that kind of gave me a little bit of warning. That was a little warning. Then let me see here. Okay, got that. Just making sure I covered all my little notes here. Then sorry, so we get past that. I get past that. I'm like, okay, past that. And then the show opens with a pretty good little narrative by the character. I guess his name's Boimler. Boimler is the character's name. Pretty good little narrative, and it's going along pretty good until he gets interrupted. Let me bring up I'm going to come up here. Let me pop it up so we can talk about this. So Boimler gets interrupted by this character, and like I said, up to this point, it was going, pretty decent. Pretty decent. He gets interrupted by this character, and it just really kind of goes downhill from there. She's crude. She's rude. I mean, he's literally begging for privacy, and she doesn't care. I mean, it just goes on, just all the way out. It's just stupid. She's totally unhinged. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. And that was I was a little worried, the scene, here's the note I made. The scene is crude and downright, I hate to use the word stupid. Arterial spray is not usually what you find in Star Trek. Check notes again, or just kids shows. So, that was I'm like, really? Damn, Star Trek? CBS, man, come on. So this was problematic for me. I mean, it's kind of okay. And real quick, before we get too far along, I want to here's another note I mentioned. It says, so here we have this new Trek showrunners outreach to kids, and it opens with warnings for violence and language. That tells me that they're not reaching for kids and probably going for the low-hanging fruit department. And sure enough, that's right exactly where they went. The show was going pretty good until the drunk chick broke into his introduction, because that's what he was doing. He was doing an introduction of Captain's Log or something. Drunk on Romulan ale. Wait, Chris checks notes, right? Oh, wait, Romulan whiskey. So it's like the writers have seen some of Star Trek, but it's been a long time. See, have you ever heard of Romulan whiskey before? I've never heard of Romulan whiskey before. Now it's Romulan whiskey. I know it's just odd. It's a little thing. It's just on top of everything else. I was like, oh no. So then, of course, we got to the arterial spray part. For me at this point, this is a little bit of a harsh introduction. I was hopeful. I don't know what I was hopeful for. I guess I don't know what I was hopeful for. But this was bad. I do appreciate that we did get to see the cleavage of the first female character of the show. And rest assured, friends, we will later go on to see her in her underwear completely later. So, yes, just kind of a thought there. Hang on to that. If that's your bag, you're going to be very happy. So let's see. The scene is crude. Then they go on to the introduction. Now, the introduction... The introduction shows that they can't pilot their ship. They run into things. They run from fights. It's like a show written by Star Wars fans to poke fun at Star Trek. That's what it looks like. They're complete. I want to say the word idiots. Is idiot a word we can? Yeah, idiots. They're idiots. They're complete idiots. Of course, they continue that throughout the course of the show, being idiots. But yeah, it's kind of thing. But I wanted to mention this scene here where this alien creature in the opening is sucking on the the nacelle. I don't know why that got a chuckle out of me. I got to give them credit where credit is due. That's a good one. Look at that ship though. That's not a bad looking ship. Kind of the art there kind of reminds me of a little bit of what was that show? Heavy Metal back in the 90s. Some of the metal scenes, the building scenes. Of course, it's got the animated alien eyes and all that stuff. It's more up to date with the CGI stuff, but it's kind of a good looking little ship. I give them credit where the credit is due, but we'll come back to that later. I'm on their ship because it's there's something about that. So Let me see what I have next here on our thing. Okay, so the green chick is annoying. She comes along. She's just absolutely annoying. Um, it's like watching. I mean, she just bounces off the wall completely. It's. I don't know. It's hard to explain how. Obviously, there's nothing against the actress. I have no problem. The actor, the voice actors did, all of them did a fantastic job. The artists, it does look, I mean, like either Rick and Morty or a little bit like, yeah, more Rick and Morty. I think some of the men bodies kind of look like something you might see on The Simpsons, perhaps, possibly. But I just kind of want to think. But um, yeah, before this scene, there was a guy he's got electronics things stuck in the side of his head, and he wants more anxiety because he doesn't have enough anxiety. So the chick in the red outfit, Mariner, turns up his anxiety, and I was like, man, this is getting kind of hard to watch. The more I watched it, the more it felt like a mockery of Star Trek. This here, they end up in the holodeck. And I think I got this out of. Did I get this out of order? Let me go here. Yeah, somehow I got this out of order. Anyway, when they get to the holodeck, and so here, whenever they get to the holodeck, and then he leaves, and she turns on this scene, Olympic workout thing, nude. I hope the YouTube people don't block me for showing naked butts, but for cartoon naked butts. But that's what they are. So it's kind of at this point, I'm like, yeah, all right. So this is not for kids. This is not directed at children. Unfortunately, I was hoping it was directed for children. Apparently, I don't know. So then they get on to the next scene where they're going around to their quarters, but they don't actually have quarters. They're on a starship. They don't have quarters, so they all sleep in bunks. Have these people not seen Star Trek? I'm just saying. Yeah, hey, Oz, nice to have you along with us, man. Yeah, have these people not seen Star Trek? What the hell, absolute hell is going on? I just don't, I don't understand. Why are what It's just dumb. And then let me carry on here. Go on to the next one. Bum. Now, as far as this Ensign Mariner, let me go back to her. Ensign Mariner, let's not on that one though. Goodness gracious, this one here. She is constantly rude and annoying. The Boimler character, who seems like he'd actually be a pretty good, interesting character to follow. He he is constantly interrupted, berated, smacked around. I mean, he can't do anything right. This Mariner character is just constantly, I mean, rude in a way that we wouldn't put up with in common society. It's just, it's just stupid. It really is. But up to this point, Boimler, I guess you say his name, is my favorite character. It's like he's seen Star Trek. He understands Star Trek. He knows Star Trek. That's what he's there for, is Star Trek. That's what he's there for. Star Trek. And I kind of like him. I guess I'll have a bigger picture of him down the road. That's him there, obviously, but not good enough. So let's see what I've got going on here. Of course, the first officers. Oh yes, there's our cringeworthy. I made my note about their cringeworthy thing. So in this next scene, you get this. They just come back from an away mission, and they're ready to go. Now, remember at the beginning, the lady was drunk. I think I forgot to emphasize that she was drunk on Andorian whiskey, I think she said it was. Now we've got the first officer and a lieutenant commander. They're all excited, bumping chests, clapping hands. They're ready to go to the bar and start drinking. This is just crude, lowbrow, unfortunate humor. It's just horrible. I'm thinking at this point, I'm like 9 minutes into the show, and I'm like banging my head. I've got QWERTY backwards on my forehead, but from banging my head on the keyboard, I'm taking one for the team, people, for you, because I love you and science fiction. This is just, it's just unfortunate. Anyway, so now we've got the main character, the hero of the story. She's a lush, the first officer, and one of the supporting officers. I don't know what he is. I guess he's the security. I don't know what he is. They're luscious too. They're ready to go things. It's like, in a way, it kind of reminds me like they're trying to be sort of like almost like the Orville in their slapstick comedy, but they're missing the mark so horribly. Horrible. It's just up to this point. And then, all right, so we go on a little bit. Let me get on here. I'm going to learn how to make my things better. So the first officer, he gets bitten. This guy back here, let me go back to this guy. He gets bitten by something on the planet, which is, I have to say, as far as a Star Trek storyline, this is actually kind of a normal thing. Not him bumping chest, but that he had gotten bitten by something on a planet and there was a problem and he took it back up to the ship. That's kind of a classic Star Trek. We can all go, yeah, that's kind of normal. The difference is that in this case, he's actually, again, a first officer of the ship and literally notices there's a problem. Damn, there's something wrong with me. I have a problem, and never chooses to go to the... I guess in some shows you'll see them do that is like for dramatic effect. The bug is taking over his mind or whatever and won't let him go to the... I don't know, but I thought it was really unlikely that he would get stung, see problems, and not go to the thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, then we have got World War Z in space. Just like that, World War Z in space. It's... At this point, I'm thinking, am I hallucinating? Did I have a stroke? Or am I watching the same show I started? But wait, friends, it gets better. So then we've got these two characters here. Let me just kind of see if my little navy buttons. Oh, and then a spider comes out of nowhere. Got to have a spider. Spider, magic spider comes out of nowhere. Spider. And then we have, not these guys. What are you doing, these guys? These guys. I got to work on my ordering of my images. These guys here, they, despite the plague that's going on the ship and the zombies everywhere and phaser fire and all that, they're dating. They're talking about their day, everything. I mean, there's nothing distracts them from their date, nothing distracts them. Except for later he goes, you know what? Oh, look at this thing. And that's cool. And she goes, oh, that's not really cool. And that's it. And suddenly they don't care about each other and they go their other. It's like, it's just... it's ridiculous. It's just it's just ridiculous. It's really, it's hard to watch. But then back to this here, then we get the spider, right? Now we've got a spider coming out of nowhere. And naturally, the best thing to do with the spider is to take off your clothes and throw your clothes and let the spider destroy your clothes. So now we get to see our characters mostly naked, partially naked. Really? I mean... Enterprise was pretty bad about that, you know? You guys remember Enterprise? They love doing that stuff. Getting their main actors in their underwear on the regular. I just don't want my Star Trek to have to use that kind of thing to tell a story. You know, but now, I mean, there we go. If you're down to seeing your main Star Trek characters in their man panties and their bra and panties, and then there you go. I mean, because we rely on that kind of lowbrow humor. That's what we need. That's what Star Trek needs right now. And then, you know, they bounce back and forth, and back in the medical bay, they've got the... Oh, man. You know, sometimes I take off my glasses whenever I guess I see more than I can understand. They get back to the medical bay, and this craziness is going on in the medical bay. I don't know what it is, really. It's unfortunate is what it is. I want to say unfortunate. Let's see what's going on next. Okay, so then we get back to the scene and we finally get full confirmation that this is not a child's show, because this character gets fully sucked off by this giant spider. I mean, she's like, don't resist it. Well, I mean, she's even telling it. Here, let me go to this next one. She's even telling it, don't resist, just let it happen. I mean, if all this stuff was happening to a female character and the things that were going on, it wants your juices. It needs your juices. It's just going to suck you like that until it gets all your juices out. Don't fight it. Let it happen. Do you know where people would be? People would be up in arms about that. That's just crazy. And then after this guy, he's already been through this. He didn't want to be there. This totally, if this were a real experience, completely traumatic experience that this person has lived. And she's like, don't worry about it. You'll be okay. Doc will wave a light over it. Get over it. And he's like, oh, crying. And she's like, oh, and walks away. This is horrible. It's horrible. This is horrible. What the hell? I mean, absolutely, totally. I mean, really? had a female character had all her, because he did have underwear on until the sucking started. And then whenever she pulls him out, there's no underwear. It's gone. He's completely naked, standing there, naked, violated. And she's like, just get over it and go on. I'm like, what the hell what am I watching? I did have a stroke. Yeah, I'm dead. And this is hell. That's what this is. I'm trapped in hell. But luckily it went on. So there was this one little scene. It does have other kind of things. I didn't do photographs for every part of the show. I didn't stop and get an image for every part, but there were other parts that the captain sets to task. The captain of the ship sets to task a lieutenant. Was he an ensign? An ensign to spy on another ensign. I mean, don't you have a security officer for that? That's what security's for. You got security. It's just, I thought that whole premise was bad. The captain was written poorly. The only thing I enjoyed about the captain at all in the show that I remember, because she seemed awful villainous throughout the show. At the end, though, there was this scene where it is revealed, spoiler alert, cover your ears. It was revealed that Mariner, this character, is the daughter of the captain and an admiral, which explains why she hasn't been shoehorned out, right? Just shit canned straight out. That's the only reason why she's still there, is because she's their kid. And there was this funny little scene between the captain mother and the admiral father, where she's talking at him like, hey, it ain't working out here. And he's like, I can't hear you. Bzz, bzz, gotta go. Bzz, bzz. I thought that was pretty cute, and I got to give them credit for it. Of course, the voice actors always did great, but that was a cute scene, and I enjoyed it. That was a chuckle. They got a chuckle out of me. They bought a chuckle. I should do so far this is a 2 chuckle episode. 2 chuckles that I got. No laughs. This is not, and certainly no root beer moments. The root beer moments are not even involved in this. This is a chuckle. So, and then it's one of those deals where we've got kind of, things are already weird. The green-headed chick, I don't remember her name. Sorry, green-headed chick, if you're watching, I forgot your name. But this Mariner thing, every time her character opens her mouth, it's crude, rude, obnoxious. It's stupid. She's doing something. I mean, it's just, this is an unfortunate character. The character is most unfortunate. I mean, I was kind of starting to get to like her a little bit at one point, and then she opened her mouth again. Anyway, so I just kind of thought that. Here was a quick note I wrote as I was doing the thing. Sarcasm involved, of course. I was hoping to see cartoon Star Trek character in her underwear, and my dreams have paid off. In fact, I don't know that I've seen a Star Trek character in their underwear, if you don't count the Jar Jar Abrams lowbrow skivvy scenes in the side, Star Trek, where they go to a Star Trek shuttle and she's like, turn around. He's like, why are they changing in a shuttle? Anyway, that was just, man, that's lowbrow. So I've heard rumor that they're going to get Jar Jar Abrams out. Man, I pray to the CBS gods, don't disappoint us. Ensign Tendi, that sounds familiar. Ensign Tendi. I need to. Oh, the name Ensign Tendi. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, gotcha. So I just wanted to got that. So now let's see. 2 characters constantly flirting. Oh yeah, I mentioned them guys about them constantly flirting. It was a little jarring. All this stuff going on around them. I mean, I get the trope they were trying to do. Let me go back to them so you can see who I'm talking about. These 2 characters here. They were constantly flirting, and I get the trope. I get it, what they were doing. No matter what, they had a mission to go on. They all just seemed to, they overdid it. It was too much. It was not good. It was not good storytelling. That was bad storytelling. There's other parts of this show that are bad science fiction. This part is just bad storytelling. I know what they were trying to do. I saw it. Mediocre. Anyway, let's see. I got that part. I told you guys about that. Seeing where the Admiral Captain revealed. I thought that was good. Let's see. I began enjoying Mariner's character a tiny bit again, but then she spoke again. Okay. Here's the thing with this show. It seems like every scene, every second of every scene, they are trying desperately to get you to laugh. Every right from the beginning, everything they do is just desperate for laughs. Like slaps, it doesn't matter. It's like somebody sit around and go, oh, would this be funny? And they're like, oh yeah, shit, just throw that in there. Doesn't matter what it is. Every second, on and on. Let me read my note here. Right from the start, it wants laughs and just plugs on and on and on. It's like there's not a still moment to be found. It bounces from one obnoxious joke to the next. The humor is disjointed and in poor flavor, and carries on for most of the entire show, literally the entire show. So right now, my feelings on this is horrible. I do not have a thumbs down system yet. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I was going to make, yes, the green chick. I would thank you for that. I'm going to make a "this is bad science fiction" button I can press. It will flash this thing. This is just bad science. My bad science fiction. This is just bad. This is horrible. It's like people who are trying to harm Star Trek wrote this. I had hopes. I wanted to be hopeful. I'd seen the trailer though, and I knew it was Rick and Morty shits on Star Trek. I mean, Rick and Morty meets Star Trek. But, so I just want to say, somebody out there, somebody owes Gene Roddenberry an apology. If he were alive today, he would grab his chest and fall over dead watching what they do with his show. I'd be hard pressed to believe, but I could be wrong. But man, I tell you, he was all about inclusion and all that, but this is not inclusion. This is just low grade base humor. It's Star Trash is what this is. Star Trash, the lower decks. I may have to start calling it that. Star Trash, the lower decks. Okay, people, I thank you all for those of you who tuned in live, and for those of you who watched later. I really appreciate you watching. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the notification bell, do the thing at the place for the guy. I'm the guy. And remember to tune in, because I'm going to be doing more reviews on episodes of Lower Decks as I make myself go through it. For you people, for you, right? But remember to tune in. I'm going to be doing Picard. I have not seen all of Picard at this stage. I want to be watching Picard. I've seen one episode. Let's watch it together. Come with me as we review it as well over there. So remember, subscribe, like, do the thing at the place for the people. Thank you very much. Have a great day and take care. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Ian Davenport, Cindy Plaza, and Tons of Mice. Thank you and have a great day.